Sure, we're going to get started with that. So my name is Lieutenant Maria Iannuzzi, and that is spelled Mireya. Last name is Iannuzzi, Iannuzzi. And I have with me Detective Fabiola Talley over here, and also Deputy Chief Scott Nylander behind me. Do you all need the spelling for that, or?
Are either of them speaking?
No.
No.
Nope.
Don't worry about
Okay, thank you. All right. Keep it simple, right?
it.
Have you all received a copy of the press release that was sent out about an hour ago? Okay, so you have the names and basic information. Photograph, I think, was attached to it. I just want to make sure that everyone has that before we get started. Okay, very good. Okay. Well, again, thank you for being here today. We are here to give you a brief update in reference to a homicide investigation that we had earlier today at Ocoee Planet Fitness. What we can tell you is that earlier this morning at about 7:30, we had officers who responded in reference to a disturbance that was taking place in the parking lot. When our officers arrived, they noticed a woman who had severe injuries and also a couple of bystanders who were essentially holding a person down, a man. We know from our preliminary investigation, and again, this is very active and ongoing at this time, but we do know that the person that they were holding down is in fact going to be our suspect, our prime suspect in this case, which has turned now into a homicide. Unfortunately, our victim, who the officers found earlier today, succumbed to her injuries, and she has passed away. I'll just give you some brief information. We have made an arrest in the case. That's going to be for a Shannon W. King, his date of birth 12/2/68, from Orlando, and we have been able to do next of kin notification for the victim's family, and she was identified as Jessica Stiegelman from Winter Garden. And at this time, if you have any brief questions, I'll take those.
Can you please explain the ABCs of how it happened? She was getting out of her car and he was there? Or
So
followed her? Or what happened?
right now, we're still trying to piece that together. We still, like I said, it's an ongoing investigation. We're interviewing a couple of witnesses, and obviously those bystanders who were there and did the right thing and did the best that they could to try to assist her.
Was it a stabbing or did he beat her?
It was a stabbing.
And at this point, do you guys know if they're connected in any way other than being in the same parking lot?
It would appear like it is not a random act and that it might be domestic in nature. But again, it's still very active and ongoing. We're trying to determine what exactly the exact relationship was, but it does appear to be domestic.
So you can actually say they know each other?
Yes, sir.
Okay, were they in a relationship?
Again, those are things that we're still trying to kind of pin down.
Okay. Again, can you go back to the part? I'm sorry. So she drives in the parking lot.
Actually, wait a second.
and
There's some.
Exactly. Yeah. What? Can you take a step by step from attack to?
Right now, the only thing that we can tell you is there was some sort of altercation in that parking lot area. We did have some bystanders that saw something or heard something, and they stopped out to help. And we do know that when our officers arrived, that she had severe injuries, and that this person was there with the two bystanders, was essentially being held down by the bystanders.
How many? Can you say how many times she was stabbed or attacked?
I don't know that.
Do you find it unusual? Like, we did a cursory check of his background, and he's never been arrested for a felony dating back 25 years. There's no restraining order involving him and this woman. It seems all kind of nothing.
Domestic situations can sometimes come like that, out of nowhere with someone with no criminal history. And that's why it's so important for us to remind, victims, and there's men and women who are in domestic violence situations, that when something becomes violent, that they come forward and that they report it to the police. We don't want it to end like this. We don't want these types of situations to end in a tragedy like this. It's always very important to to have victims come forward when you start seeing certain behaviors, violent behaviors.
Can you describe what type, you just said certain violent behaviors, can you describe certain things that most people may not think would lead to this, but could, in your experience?
I mean, we see a lot of things, as investigators. Sometimes it starts as, something as simple as somebody being possessive or somebody tracking, a partner or someone that they're in a relationship with. And then from there it escalates, and sometimes it does become violent. Unfortunately, we do see a lot of that, and we just wish that when these behaviors are first seen that they come forward, that our victims come forward.
And can you tell us, have you recovered the weapon?
I'm not 100% on that. I will get back to you.
At this point, do you know was she working out there? Was she going to work out there, or did he follow her there, meet her
Yeah,
there?
it appears like she may have been going to work out. Yeah. Not a lot of businesses are open in that plaza at that time in the morning.
So
All right.
obviously the bystanders didn't make it, in time to prevent what happened, but as a part of the police department, what does it mean to know that they stepped in and at least tried to hold that person accountable?
We can't tell you how much we appreciate that, for them to know that we still have good Samaritans and people that are willing to step in and do the right thing. And in this case, we had more than one person do that, and we thank them tremendously. They're the ones that are going to be able to help us piece some of the pieces together.
Because if it was a stabbing, he was possibly still armed when they took him down.
Probably, correct. Well, thank you all very much. If we have any follow-up, we'll make sure to get it to you. Thank you.